the show goes smooth. Yes. My real goal is by, I mean, I was hoping by this week, but by next week, I want to be free by the time our guests get here. So it's like I can sit everybody down, we can chat a little bit, and start on time, yes. And we're getting there slowly but surely. And starting next show, we'll have a different ending scene. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to have something that's real kind of tight on this, and we're all just going to cram in right here to say goodbye to the cameras. It's like you does our credits underneath the screen here, and then it's gonna just, you know, list like, you know, support us by shopping at our store on eBay, yada yada yada. But that way we can kind of talk to people and be like, I don't know when it's gonna cut off, I just put a timer on it, so when it ends, it's just, you know, and we'll just kind of keep talking. And I'll put like a 30-second timer on it so we can just say goodbye, and it's kind of where it's headed. Help it feel like it has more of an end cap. I feel like that's what's missing right now. Is there's just not a...
Yeah, it's just not a...
Yeah,
we're done here.
The end cap is just this screen with some credits on there. Oh, but we're not going to be able to use it today. We're going to end with a... yeah, I forgot to... So... We'll just end with a good old bird's eye view. Okay, so... Can you see the stream on your end? It's looking good. Okay. Episode 6. Good evening, I'm Pollock Taylor, and welcome once again to Filmburgh Live. Thank you all so much for being here, whether you're watching this with us live, or if you're watching it in 100 years, I still appreciate the view. So, some of you were only on episode 6, and as we learned this week, most of these ventures, 50% of them fail after episode 7. So good God, I hope you stick around for episode 8. But we have an excellent show for you tonight. We have an amazing guest. We have SAG actor Brian CEPONIS. I've been lucky to work with this man on set. I've been on the opposite side of the casting room table as him, and I just can't wait for you guys to get to meet this guy. He's down to earth, but awesome. Awesome. He's the type of guy that, this is how it worked out when he came and auditioned for our project. We had a project, Wes and I, a long time ago, called Happy People for a short period of time. And that's what we had auditions for. And Brian came in and was just so excellent in the room that when that project fell through and we started doing rewrites so we could continue on our production schedule, we wrote a part specifically for him. We're going to talk a lot about Pivot, the project that he was a part of a couple of years ago, and we're going to just air out all the dirty laundry from that production. Oh my gosh. You ready to talk about some Pivot, Wes?
I'm ready.
Oh, I bet. So, if you're wondering what Filmburgh is, we are a small collective of artists and entrepreneurs, and we like to tell stories. We are just looking to live our lives free, doing what we love. I believe that it's possible for me, and if you believe in you, then I believe that it's possible for you too. So, why don't we get right to it? Wes, why don't you throw out something? What's in the news right now?
Well, we have Will Smith, who is dropping out of Suicide Squad sequel. Yes.
No. I mean, DCEU is a mess. DC doesn't even want us to call it the DCEU.
No.
And Suicide Squad was a mess. But I love all superhero movies. Like we've talked about this before. It doesn't matter what it is. I know I'm gonna buy it on Blu-ray when it comes out, and I'm gonna go see it in theater. I just have to. Like, I love it. Even the bad ones, I love. Like, I've watched Suicide Squad at least 6 times. It's horrible. I love it. So, yeah, that's some news. But they've also lost Batman this week.
They lost Batman. Yeah. They're trying to cast Batman,
and there's also like Henry Cavill probably isn't coming back for Superman. So it's like, really, the whole DCEU is in shambles, and they had 2 successful movies, which, if they had started building the Justice League, they should have just... Why didn't they just copy Marvel step by step and say, we're going to be 8 years behind, but we're going to do our thing in 8 years instead of 10 years, you know?
Sounds to me like Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale needs to get back on that wagon.
I don't know. Guys, here, let me tell you this. Yes, I would love... That would have been correct. That was the right way to do it, Warner Brothers. Shell out the money for Nolan, all right? Get him on for 3-4 more movies, and then have somebody else take over the cowl, all right? Because the Nolan versus Batman really, tone-wise, I thought fit really well with Man of Steel. And it seemed like that was the direction they were going in. And if they had done that, and then jumped to Batman v Superman with Christian Bale's Batman... That would have been a great movie, even if it was done shot for shot the exact same. Because we would have had a whole universe preceding it. That makes more sense. And Batman is the cornerstone. So, well, that's really good. That's really good. So, guys, if you're like us, please let us know. Hey, if you like superhero movies, we'll talk about it more. If you hate it, make sure you're sending us messages. I'll shut up now. All right, so, hey, thanks for that little bit. Guys, let's get on over. I want to get our guest in on this. We're trying a slightly different style of show flow this week, and hopefully it works. We're going to do a little less segmentation for now, and we're going to focus more on just the conversation. So, without further ado, this is Brian CEPONIS. Thank you so much for being in the studio.
Thanks so much, Pollock and Wes. Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, man. So, it has been... 2.5 years. 2.5 years since we did Pivot.
Yes.
So, now this was, you've been doing some really cool stuff, and I want you to tell our viewers and us all about it, because I'm sure I have a million questions. So, what I want to say though is, Pivot. Let's go back to it. Let's do some dirty laundry.
Love to.
You were awesome throughout the whole process.
Thank you.
Both on set, during the auditions, the rehearsal, everything like that, it went really smooth. And you are just a joy to have on set. But post-production, you were the only person, besides Wes, who continued to reach out to check in on it. And I dropped the ball because, well, a lot of life was happening. Here, I'm going to catch you up a little bit. So, hey, Internet, you're going to get to learn a little bit about me, too. So, right at the end of when we filmed that, I had just been in a new job for about 2 months when we had started, and it was a pretty demanding job. That's neither here nor there, you know. The big thing was I started going through a divorce. And so... a lot of that stuff fell to the wayside, and I still remember the last time you emailed me, and I never emailed back. So I would like to start this show with an apology. Then networking is not necessarily my best skill set because I spend so much time doing the back of house things. I normally send Wes out, and then I go to events like when it's a good event, and it's like, yeah, I should be there. And so I want to say thank you so much for your continued interest in it. You know, the fact that you were excited to see it. It's still a project that, like, I dream about picking it up off the cutting room floor and putting it together. But your scene in particular is the first one we shot, and it's the first one I edited. And I hit a brick wall because we filmed the whole thing with incandescent lights. And I didn't realize the type of band artifacting that goes through the sensor because of the type of sensor that was on there. So I spent your scene was all of 45 seconds, right? It was a short scene. We had an awesome location. We got a local restaurant to let us use their space after closing one night. It was so cool, and it looked great. You looked great, and the shots that we got were actually, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. But it had all these artifacting bands, and since the scene itself was so dark overall, there was no way for me to even... I spent maybe a month just trying to fix your scene so I could cut them together. And then from there, I started working on other stuff. You know, it is what it is. But I'll say this. It was my first film anything with a camera ever. So...
Well, it didn't seem like that when we were doing it, that it was your first anything with a camera. You did not come off as a rookie, so to speak. And,
fooled you.
And I do appreciate the kind words from before. Thank you very much. You know, as I tell everybody with this business, I'm just trying to entertain people. It's not rocket science, it's not brain surgery. You know, we're not saving the world. We're just trying to entertain people. So.
Yes. But in a way, we are saving the world.
Well, in a way.
From, you know, mediocrity, mundaneness. Well, okay.
We try.
From the mundane, at least.
We try. But no, it would be great to get that project back at some point, because I saw a lot of potential in that project, and I was really excited about it. That's why, you know, I wanted to follow up with you on
Absolutely. That. And I mean, it's still something I think that the concept itself, which we won't get in too deep here, because you sneaky bastards. No, I'm just kidding. But it's something that I would like to do. I think that the concept itself is actually really exciting, and I think that a lot of people would be just as interested in it as they were in Silicon Valley, you know, which has got a huge... I love that show. Yep. If we were gonna go back, I would like to do a little bit of rewrites. I would like to have fewer characters in the show, less actual interactive phone calls, and maybe half the characters that we actually interacted with. I would like to just have them mentioned, so then they can be brought in a future episode, and, you know, they can see the more of the layering of it and stuff like that.
I think that's a good idea.
So, and your character was big. So we wrote one extra episode, but we fleshed out 3 or 4. Wow. Like, we had an idea of where it was going, but the whole second episode was going to take a shift in focus.
Right. I remember you telling me.
And was going to focus entirely on your character, Mr. Moneybags, and getting more of an idea of how you're fitting into that craziness. And the idea was supposed to be more of an ensemble type comedic show, a la The Office or Modern Family, without using any of the mockumentary gimmicks where we cut away and the exposition's given to the camera, you know? Like, I wanted to have an advanced cast and an advanced, you know, character building in that type of way. And so it is something that I would love to eventually go back to, and I promise you will be at the top of the list.
Well, I appreciate that. And I got that sense of everything you mentioned when we were working on it for a little bit of time there, that there's a lot of potential there for that storyline and for exactly what you were talking about, which I was excited about to see it progress. And like you said, at some point it would be absolutely great to get back to that and see where it goes.
Yes,
let it breathe.
It is definitely, it's on the to-do list. I would think that for that project, if we were going to really take that one seriously, the best way to do it would be for Wes and I to sit down and do a first script overhaul, you know, tool it, make it a little bit more advanced, so as a singular script, it has enough punch to it, enough interest-grabbing material that that could be what we'd send off to festivals and stuff like that. I'd love to send that off to competitions and maybe win a competition to where we could produce it. So
you never know. You never know until you get it out there.
It's true. It's true. So yeah, it's on the to-do list. We have we're building up here as far as outside of just what we're doing for our social media counterparts and building our business. You know, introducing people to the fact that we not only do this show, but we also operate an online store through Amazon and eBay. You can find that at Film Gear by Filmburgh. either of those platforms. And that's how we're able to do this, is we have a store and we sell stuff, we sell things. But hey, if you're interested in multimedia, in video, any type of digital creation, we have stuff that will be useful to you. Whether you're an artist or an entrepreneur, digital media is king. You need it. And so the tools to make it, you may as well have access to at the best prices you can find. New thing that we're starting, if you message us on YouTube ahead of time, we'll send you a direct link and we'll actually give you an additional 10% off our lowest best offer for eBay. Because when we send you that link, we save on eBay fees. So that way, you know, we're not looking to make extra money necessarily. We would like to move more products faster, but it's not about the dollar. It's more about helping you guys get what you need and helping us keep this ship going. So with all that going on top of the store and us doing a weekly live show, which has its own type of things. As you know, you came in, we started the show 45 minutes late. There's always a little something, and we're trying to amp up every single week. Production quality is one of the only things we actually have control of. Right. And so it's definitely something that I focus on a whole bunch. Good. And so with the store, the production, what we're focused on across this next year is producing 2 to 3 short films, you know, 3 to 5 minutes. We really want to focus on the micro short category and focus on a system of getting things into festivals, you know, starting at the bottom and taking a project and growing it from those year 1 festivals and then moving them up to the 3 to 5 year festivals and so on and so forth once you've won some more laurels, you know. That way you're not sending it right off to Sundance, where you probably shouldn't be with a 3 to 5 minute thing, unless, you know, you had a $100,000 animation budget and it's like top of the line, you know. So that's where we're going towards. But I definitely think that we could probably find a week to retool that and find a half dozen competitions to send that script out to, because I think with the right cover letter and, you know, general idea, you know, I write stories. When I craft this stuff, I'm always thinking like, you know, I really only want this to be like 4 seasons and a movie. But no studio is going to want to hear that, because this is America. Like if we were in Europe or if we were in South America or the Middle East, everywhere they do just 1 season, sometimes 2, and it's 30 episodes or 28 episodes, and you tell the whole story, right?
Done.
And so for Pivot, I don't know if I ever got too deep into it with you. If we were going to do Pivot hardcore, like in my mind, I'd want to do 4 seasons. So we have pre-production, on-set, post-production, and press circuit, right? And those would pretty much be this group of people in those 4 scenarios. And then the movie would actually be the movie that they talked about making the whole series, right? So it's like when you go see the Pivot movie, it'll still be called Pivot the movie, but all the actors that you would be used to seeing from the series would actually be playing their parts that you've heard them talking about, right? And so I think that it would be really advanced. And I think that a place like Netflix or Hulu or somewhere like that would be open to those types of ideas. But, you know, we got to start building that festival resume. So, all right. So, hey, Wes, why don't we cut over to you real quick? What else we got going on in the world?
Well, you know, it's my second favorite time of year. It's March, you know, and that can only mean one thing. It's the weekend after the Oscars. And gotta give a shout out to Green Book for winning Best Picture. Congratulations.
Yes, absolutely.
Great movie.
Politics. No, I mean, Vigo is amazing. The actor who's playing the counterpart to him, I always forget his name, but he was in the Luke Cage series. Yes. He's in everything right now. He's incredible. He has a more authentic African name, which is, my ignorance is just why I'm forgetting it right now. But that does not diminish my respect for this man at all. That's a movie I haven't gotten a chance to see yet. If you have a Roku device, the Smithsonian Channel is allowing you to watch the Green Book for free. So go check it out. If you got Roku, go ahead and download the Smithsonian Channel. Check out Green Book. Nice. Roma obviously is on Netflix. So you can catch that
10 nominations. That won Best foreign language film, Best Director.
Best Director, yep.
That only means Netflix is really pushing for 2020.
Well, I think that they should have won it this year, probably, you know, but the thing is that all the movies in Best Picture are typically good, so...
Yeah.
Most. So what else we got going on in the world, Wes?
So I've been going along with, you know, the whole Netflix thing. You know, we got Steven Spielberg, who's kind of still pushing his agenda for keeping the mainstream cinemas alive and kind of battling Netflix and saying, no, those movies should just be up for Emmys and not necessarily Oscars. But, you know, whether you agree or not, I mean, Steven, you have so many accolades at this point, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about Spielberg?
Yeah.
Did anybody else watch Ready Player One?
I mean...
What'd you guys think of Ready Player One? Well, let's start there before I get into my overly opinionated viewpoint. What did you guys think?
I thought it was good. I think it was a good throwback to like a lot of different things, and you know, it kept a good pace throughout, and I enjoyed it. Yeah.
You haven't seen it?
I saw half of it, and
yeah.
So I can't make a fair assessment on the whole film.
Well, if you couldn't get through the whole thing, I bet you could make a semi-fair one. I read the book, and I finished the book the day IMDb announced the movie.
Oh, wow.
So it was very, very close, you know, proximity, because it wasn't like a big name property at that point in time. So the book is great. It's a great read. It's not like going to change your life or anything. It's not, you know, but what they did in the book, it's just better. It's just better. Yeah. But because of the movie, he's actually going to write a sequel now.
Interesting.
So
is that a good thing for you?
It's a book series. For the most part, when somebody sits down to write a book, it's rare that like I read a book series that like it is that bad. But it could be. I don't know. Does he want to just do a series, or is he like, hey, okay, I'm just going to tell another part of this story and then that's it? But he said this was the whole thing before.
And it wasn't.
Ready Player 2.
Yeah, well,
how easy.
Well, but it's not Ready Player 2. Because, you know, think about it. What did it say every time you played Sega Genesis and you were already playing around
what did it say?
And you pressed, and Player 2 pressed start? It doesn't say Ready Player 2. It says Ready Player 1. But then it says Enter Player 2.
Enter Player 2.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that that's what this guy does.
Enter Player 2.
Otherwise, I will be writing his publicist.
Guys, where's the Enter Player 2?
Yeah. And then, you know, Enter Player 2 and then make it a trilogy. Book 3, game over.
Game over.
Boom.
Yep.
That's all that we need. That's all that we need. So... What have you watched? What have you gone to see in the theater world, in the film world? Actually, going seeing it on the big screen.
Oh boy! Well, let's see. I saw Vice, which I thought Christian Bale did an excellent job as Dick Cheney. I saw Bohemian Rhapsody, which again another biopic. Freddie Malek just nails
Freddie Mercury.
Rami Malek nails Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. Hey, Freddie Malek, Rami Mercury. I'm down.
I'm down. Both good movies. I'm trying.
I didn't. You know, I grew up in the theater, in the actual like performing stage plays, right? Mm-hmm. And so I have a lot of connection to like the LGBT community and stuff like that. So one of the first things I heard about that film, because Freddie Mercury is notoriously a leader, you know, an iconic figure of the LGBT community, right? And one of the biggest things I heard off the front end was that they really focus in this movie, even though he was bisexual, they really focus on his female love interests and not the majority of his romantic life, which was more homosexual in nature. And so that kind of put a damper on it for me, because if I go see a biopic, like Hollywood's going to do its things, but there are certain like big issues that like it's you really shouldn't do the movie if you're not going to do the if you're not going to tell the story.
Sure.
And I think that was probably why I haven't gone to see it yet. But was it good?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought the movie was really well done, especially when they did the Live Aid concert at the end. They recreated the Live Aid concert at the end, and just you can watch the Live Aid concert on YouTube and watch the movie, and it's. I mean, they have like Pepsi cups in the same spot on the piano and everything. It's just meticulously recreated in the film, which I loved every minute of that. I was like, that's fantastic.
Continuity.
Yeah, it was great.
Is such a pain in the ass, but when it's done right,
it was great. It was great.
So, did he actually sing, or did they just use? Queen? Do you know?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Hey, I don't know. That was another thing. I didn't look into it, because if I thought Rami was actually singing, because have you guys ever watched Mr. Robot?
I didn't.
No, great flick. Yeah. Great flick. All TV shows are dramatic or TV series, extended movies. So, he's really, really good. I feel like his just general personality is very close to that character.
Yeah.
Just based off of his Oscar-winning speech.
On the way he dressed, I mean, he looks just like Freddie Mercury in the film too. I think he had prosthetic teeth and everything to give him that overbite. And,
he had that crazy overbite.
It just looks just like him in the film. So, really well done. Really well done.
Well, it's on the list. I definitely want to go check it out. So, Wes, what else we got on the news today?
So on the docket we have Netflix is pushing for the wide release of The Irishman, Martin Scorsese. Robert De Niro just confirmed that it will be a wide release, so looking forward to that. Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, getting that crew all reunited.
That'll be good. Yeah, that'll be good.
That's awesome. I don't know how I feel about like the overall wide release of that. I love Netflix being immediately available to everybody, and it's producing such good content, it's sweeping everything. I love that about Netflix. So it's like, I don't know if I'll ever, like, what constitutes a wide release? Because I know that they've been doing the minimum, featured releases or short run releases, a full week in a theater, in LA and New York or wherever they have to have it for it to be in consideration. All of their movies that have ever been nominated for Academy Awards have screened in actual movie theaters for the mandatory 1 week run. But based off of this whole situation with Roma, they said, well, no, they shouldn't win because they're not doing a wide release like everything else has. Right. So, if anybody knows, please drop us a message, shoot us something.
Drop a message.
Let us know.
That's a good
question. The hell a wide release is. Widely. Okay. So, what else we got? What else we cooking?
So Bond 25 is rounding out its cast, pushing
Bond 25.
Oh yeah, it's the working title right now is Shatterhand.
Shatterhand.
It's the working title, could be the main one. Kind of like it. It's interesting.
It's different.
Well, it was first called Broken Fist, but they were like, too on the nose. The puns are gonna just keep coming. Keep coming.
It's gonna be a long night.
Oh yes. So, Brian, let's go back over to you. So, you've been doing a lot of stuff lately, and I understand you were just in California for a film festival.
We were. Yes.
Tell us what film festival? What was the project?
Oh well, there's a little bit of a backstory. We had done a short film for a 48. Actually, it was a 50-hour film festival, and we threw it together for the weekend and did really well in the festival. And we had gotten one of the stipulations for it was you had to have a circus worker, you had to have a tennis ball, a juice box, and a line of dialogue that looks like you're in trouble there. And we did all that, did really well. We won Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Cinematographer. I think in my personal...
Did you win an award?
I did. I won.
Oh my
I got a little statue and a little trophy and everything. Their trophies were great. They had great trophies for it and everything. So I got the... I got the best actor.
Cool. Oh, dude, yeah. Tell us all. That is what this show is for.
It was a lot of fun.
We are here to toot your horn.
Oh, man. We had a great time. So after the festival, we decided, you know what, let's just throw it out to different festivals. So what we did is we kind of genericized it a little bit. We took out the circus worker, we took out a couple other elements and shot a couple of different scenes to tie the story a little bit more together, and threw it out into festivals. Well, lo and behold, we got into one up in New York, the Transparent Film Festival, and we got in this one out in LA called the Hollywood Real Independent Film Festival, which is turned out to be a bigger deal than we had originally anticipated in terms of this type of film festival.
Oh, cool.
So when we got into it, the gentleman who directed, his name's Jesse Hutchins, very talented, up-and-coming cinematographer, director. I talked, said, well, what do you think about going out there and seeing it on big screen? You know, it's always fun to see it on big screen. Yeah. So we got everything set up. Once we got accepted as an official selection, we decided to go out and do it, and went out and had a great time. There was actually a couple other, another cast member went out, another crew member went out. So there were 4 of us from the film that were out in LA to represent Pittsburgh and the filmmaking industry here out in Los Angeles. Had a great time, met some great folks. You know, part of it's networking as well too, and did some other things. We got on the Paramount lot. I met with an agent while I was out there, so did some business on the side, you know, trying to keep things moving.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was well received, and we had a lot of compliments coming out of that festival. We're actually also waiting to hear back from Palm Springs, which is another well-known big film festival that we're waiting to hear back on, and we're going to be submitting to Holly Shorts as well too.
Oh, Holly Shorts, yeah.
Yeah, which you know, what the heck, you never know.
Great little film festival.
Great, fantastic film festival out there out in LA, and we figure, you know, what the hell, let's throw it out and see what happens. And so far, we're.
When did you film it? When was it filmed?
We filmed it last November last year. Yeah, end of last year.
So you guys have. So when was the first festival that it was produced for?
It was produced for it's called the 3K Film Festival. So we produced it for that. And
back in November.
Back in November. Okay. And then after we had had its run there, we decided to go a little wider with it, and that's when we got out in LA and the one in New York, and
I think you can send that through the circuits for 2 full years.
Absolutely. Too. Well, that's the thing. I have a list, my little watch list of things, and you know,
Without a Box or Film Freeway.
Right now, it's on both. We have because Without a Box is going away.
Is it?
Yeah, at the end of this year, I think. Who has Amazon is done? They're going to be done supporting it, so I think that website is going away. So it's only going to be Film Freeway, but we have it on both right now.
Okay.
And there's a couple others. I think we're going to be doing Austin. New Orleans. There's one in Atlanta we're going to shoot. So
Austin Film Festival or South by Southwest?
Austin Film Festival.
Check out South by Southwest too.
I will. I will. I think that was on the list. I think either we missed the deadline or it's later in the year type of thing. So I wasn't.
It's also got a real expensive buy-in. So you want as many laurels as possible. So when you send it in, you can be like.
Well, that's the other thing. We're trying to, you know, right now we've got a few laurels on there, you know, the best actor, a couple of official selections, which always look nice, and so yeah, we're trying to ramp up the laurels. But the fact that we threw this, you know, I say threw it together because we literally threw it together in a weekend, but it just you kind of catch lightning in a bottle sometimes. And we did a pretty dramatic. It's a tearjerker. It definitely is a little bit of an emotional roller coaster in there. And like I said, we've gotten some positive response on it. So what the heck, you know? You don't know until you throw it out there. I'm not going to make decisions for other people. Let them make the decision.
Yes.
Based on their own subjectives.
Yes. Sometimes you just have to allow life to happen for you.
You just have to allow. I'm not going to limit myself. Yeah. You know, so yeah, it was a fun trip. It was a great trip, and I just got back a week ago, and then jumped on a couple films when I got back. A short film that I was working on, a little sci-fi. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun little thing. And then another, I was playing a detective in another feature film. So it's been busy.
That's awesome.
It's the funny thing is when I moved back from LA, one of the first things I had done when I got back was a piece of theater. I did To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh yes, you were doing that. When you came to audition
for Pivot. Well, the funny thing about that, when I moved back, I had no desire to do theater.
Yeah.
You know, I just get back and be like, I'm just filming TV. I don't want to do theater. Blah. And my agent had sent an email. He's like, we don't normally do theater. It's just all film. But Prime Stage was casting for Atticus Finch at the time, and I guess they were doing a wide search. I heard rumors they were looking in New York. I don't know how true that is or not, but they were casting a wide net because they wanted to find the right Atticus. And he says, well, if you're interested, go to it. And I got the email. I'm like, nah, I'm talking to my wife. Like, that's theater. I don't want to do theater. Come on, I'm a film actor.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But so literally for a week, I went back and forth. And then after that, I said, what do you think? She said, well, you don't really doing anything right now. I said, oh, yeah, what the hell? So the funny part is I decided to go to the audition. So I go to the audition, and I hadn't done theater in, oh, God, it'd been 15 years since I'd done any theater. And I had no monologues or anything prepared. Well, I had done a piece of theater a while back called Down the Road. And the premise of Down the Road is this 3-person play. There's a husband and wife team that are interviewing this serial killer who's in jail. They're writing a book about him.
Okay.
And the serial killer, over the course of the interviews, ends up turning the wife and husband against each other. So it's kind of like the psychological messing of the mind. Well, I played the serial killer in that play. Well, there was a monologue in that play that I just, for some reason, stuck in my mind about, kidnapping a girl and killing her and throwing the body out and all this stuff. I had no other things, so I'm like, screw it. So I go and audition for Atticus Finch with a serial killer monologue. Okay?
Yeah.
So I pop into the room. There's a director and producer thing, and they're all sitting there. And so, like, whenever it starts, so I sit down.
It's a serial killer mockingbird.
It's a serial killer Atticus. So I sit down and I go on my monologue, and I'm just kind of into it and stuff. And I finally finish with monologue, and look up, and they're both looking at me like, I'm a little creeped out right now. That was great. Thank you.
Yes.
But no, they it was so different. They enjoyed it, and I left, and the director called me back a couple days ago. He's like, yeah. He's like, you want that role with Atticus? I was like, Atticus Finch, that's a small role, right? That's like a little minor piece of that thing. Yeah, I'll take it. So,
yes.
Yes, I'll take it. Of course I'll take it. Are you kidding me? The iconic role like Atticus Finch?
That's
My
cool.
God, it was great. So I had a blast doing it. Like I said, I hadn't done theater in it had at least 15 years before I did that role, and it was just such a great run. It was so much fun. And then then I got some film roles after that, and got to do a sitcom pilot called Almost Grown Ups out in Altoona, and we actually shot 2 episodes of that.
Cool.
We're trying to get that distributed and things. So there's just a lot.
Yeah.
And then that parlayed, and I did end up doing 1984, and then Diary of Anne Frank in theater, and then a couple other pieces of theater. The coolest thing was we had done, the movie Fright Night.
Yeah.
1985 with Chris Sarandon.
With Ash, right?
Yeah, Chris Sarandon was in it. Well, there's a local playwright here, Jim Schoberg, who had got the rights, called Tom Holland, got in touch with Tom Holland, who directed Fright Night, and got the rights to do a screen adaptation, or a stage adaptation of the screenplay.
That's awesome.
So we did the world premiere of Fright Night right here in Carnegie in Pittsburgh.
Oh, like what, at Carnegie Stage?
No, at the Off the Wall Theater down in Carnegie.
Okay.
So I got to play Jerry Dandridge.
I totally see that.
It was
Totally see
so
that.
much fun,
That's
and
awesome.
and the world premiere, the first time ever that this was done on stage, Fright Night the movie.
Yeah.
So it gets published, those little playbooks. My name gets attached to Jerry Dandridge as the originating actor.
That's awesome. Yes.
But that was great. It was so much fun to do that, and just such a Jim just put together a hell of a script, and we had a really great cast, and just such a good time.
Awesome. And I think that one of the coolest things is to hear that you're open to where the work leads you.
Yeah, I am. You have to be.
I think that that's really good, and I think that the target audience for us is really for people who are maybe too timid to take the jump from having the idea and getting the wheels turning and putting that rubber to pavement,
Yeah.
And so one thing that I think a lot of people would be interested in hearing, because you've lived in LA, and we've talked about you working with an agent and stuff like that. So just a couple of quick questions. What are you currently represented now?
I am.
Are you represented in more places than the tri-state area?
I'm represented right now in Pittsburgh, and I did have representation out in Los Angeles, but when I moved back to Pittsburgh, I lost that representation. So I'm trying to get that representation back so I can be bi-coastal on that side. But I do. I'm
so
with
who do
Doherty.
you work with here?
With Doherty.
With Doherty
in Pittsburgh. So
and we've talked about that on the show. Doherty Talent Group.
Yep.
Those are the two biggest ones here.
Two ones here in town.
Talent Group a little bit bigger if you want to do modeling and print work. Doherty seems to be a little bit more
a lot of commercial, a lot of action.
Yeah,
it's good people down at Doherty. Really enjoy working with them.
And I've heard a lot of great things. I work with Talent Group. They're good people. They call me sometimes. I go do the things. Sometimes I get called back.
The two options in town: Doherty or Talent Group.
Yes. What would you say? Because you're continuing to work and you're doing this full time, right? So you work as a full-time actor, and that in and of itself is a dream for the majority of people.
Yes.
Just being able to make it. Because my thoughts are this: it doesn't matter how much money I make, as long as I wake up and I'm still breathing. It doesn't matter as long as I continue to do what I want to do. Right. You know, what really ignites me as an individual. And so I'm sure that you've come across expanses of time where it was a little bit more famine than feast.
Oh, of course. My gosh. Yeah, there's the thing that I've been fortunate with is when I was out in LA, I had a chance to do a couple commercials and a couple national commercials. And, you know, you still get residuals on a lot of those things. And I have a crazy story about a commercial I did out in LA that I don't know if we have time for, but it's
we have all the time in the world.
Well,
for us.
This gets to my point about, you know, kind of what you're talking about, your dream. And basically, the first thing is if you want to do something, just do it. Don't sit there and play the what if game and tomorrow, because tomorrow will never come. Just get out there and do whatever you want to do now, today. You don't have time to wait. The other thing that's kind of funny is in this business, one of the things that I struggle with as an actor is I see a lot of times actors around me, they complain a little bit. Oh, nobody takes me seriously. And then I see what they're doing, and they don't take their craft and their business and the profession that they're in seriously. And one of the examples, and I'm kind of sidetracking here and segueing, but I'll get back to, is I went to an audition recently, and I was one of the last actors to audition. And coming from LA, the first thing you do, you walk in an audition, the first thing you do is hand a headshot and a resume. Yeah. It's just automatic. It's just what I do. I don't even think about it. Here's my headshot and resume. When I handed it to the director that was in there, he's like, "Wow, you're the first actor today to give me a headshot." And I literally stopped. I'm like, "Are you kidding me with this?" He said, "No, you're the first actor to hand me a headshot." I was floored. I'm like, wow. People wonder why they don't take them seriously. Because you don't treat your business as a business. This is a profession. It's a business. You know, you want to be treated seriously and taken seriously, you need to treat your business as a profession. So that kind of floored me a little bit. I was like, okay, that's...
Oh, it's flooring me right now.
Yeah, it was very strange to me. I'm like, that's odd.
For the opposite reason, it's flooring me.
Okay.
Well, so when I got my first professional headshots done, like right around when we were doing Pivot. You know, I was 30 years old, just got my first professional headshots done. And I got a whole bunch of them printed out because I was like, well, that's what I thought that you did. But as soon as I booked my first agent at the Talent Group, they were like, well, we just need digitals. You don't need any prints. Like, we're not going to send any prints.
For submitting stuff, sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
But I never thought about the impact, the possible impact of me just showing up with my own headshot and resume just to hand to whoever's in the room.
Right.
We're going to take a quick break. Guys, this is the highlight of this episode. I can tell you that. Like, if you're an actor and you're not bringing in a headshot and resume with you, then why don't we bring it back until the whole industry says no, tell them to stop again. What a great idea. And if nobody's doing it, I've never seen anybody do it in the last 2 years that I've been signed at any audition.
Yeah, I was floored by that.
I'm stealing that.
Yes. And well, the other thing that leads me to is in terms of how you run your business, the thing I can't stress enough, don't be a flake. Don't be late in this industry. It could literally cost you money. Well, I did this commercial. I did a Range Rover commercial, and when I had...
Cool.
My agent called me on a Friday. He's like, hey, I got you hooked up on this Range Rover commercial. And I'm sitting there thinking, I need an audition for this thing. Well, he had got me in as a stand-in for the commercial. Well, you know, commercial work as a stand-in, you're making some pretty decent money. Sure. Well, it was a 2.5-hour drive. It was up in this area called Lompoc, which is, like I said, about 2.5 hours north of LA. Okay. So he says, the producer's going to call you over the weekend, and he's going to set up all the details. Great. So... Sunday rolls around, and the producer finally calls me. He's like, hey, Brian, we have you coming up tonight and staying overnight. We're going to do a shoot tomorrow and stuff. I said, yeah, okay, fine. And just kind of the way it was all handled, it was just felt weird. So I wasn't sure if I was going to go or not. So I talked to my wife. She said, just go. So I drove up, Get to the hotel about 8 o'clock. Nobody's there. I'm like, okay. So I go to the hotel. The guy's like, oh, okay, Mr. SAPONIS, we have you checked in until Wednesday. And I'm thinking, well, all right, but I'll probably be leaving tomorrow because this is just a one-day thing. He's like, well, that's fine, but your room is yours until Wednesday. Okay. So I go to bed. The producer calls me, hey, there'll be a van to pick you up at 4:30 a.m. I'm like, okay, well, fine, whatever. So I get up, go down the lobby. Again, I'm the only person in the lobby. Like, what the hell? And Lompoc is not like the most populous area. You know, you're out in like some back.
Yeah.
Up pulls this white 15-passenger van. And I'm looking around. It's just me. Guy's like, hey, you Brian? I'm like, yeah. Get in. Okay. Good morning to you, sir. Hop in the van. Just me. This big-ass van. We go driving back these dark roads. I'm thinking, oh, my God, I'm going to die. No idea where I'm going.
This is it.
This is it.
You just chose a generic name.
Oh, he just, yeah. I told my wife I shouldn't come to this morning. I'm trying to call her. There's no reception. I don't know what's going on, man. Finally, I pull up and I see lights and I see a Range Rover vehicles and hell. I'm like, oh, thank God. Civilization. So we pull in. The producer comes over and says, hey, nice to meet you. We do the stuff. He says, we're going to do a sunrise shot. That's why I had to get up so early. He's like, oh, great. That makes sense now. Why don't you tell me that on the phone? So we go up to the bluff and they do the sunrise shot and shot's done. They take me back to the trailer. I think I'm done for the day. I'm wrapped and stuff. And the producer comes over and says, hey, Brian, come here. You got a second? I said, yeah, why? He says, the other actor that was supposed to have the one principal role is late, so we sent him home. We're going to give you his contract. So I went from a stand-in to a principal's contract on a national commercial. Do you have any idea how much money that is?
No, tell us.
It's a lot of money. Like tens of thousands of dollars.
I mean, yes, because they're using your face across hundreds of
millions.
And
my face didn't even show in the commercial. I ended up being just a shadow in the passenger seat.
Really?
But the point is, this actor was late. They sent him home. He lost tens of thousands of dollars because he decided to be late.
Yeah?
They gave me his contract. My agent called me and was like, what the hell did you do?
Yeah.
I'm like, I just showed up. I just was professional. I was courteous. But I showed up. You know, if you're on time, you're late. You need to be early. You know, but they sent that actor home, and I can't imagine the conversation he had with his agent. But they literally gave me his principal contract, which I still have in my files. Like, hey, look at this. And I got residuals over the year for that commercial and everything just because, you know, I said I'm going to be here on time and act professional. And they sent him home.
Punctuality is everything in
Punctuality
this
and, you know, like I said, don't be a flake because everybody in this business is replaceable without question.
Oh,
These actors that think I'm not replaceable. Yes, you are.
Absolutely.
Everybody's replaceable. They'll find somebody else. I'm not saying you're not unique and special and all that stuff, but you can be replaced.
Yeah.
But treat it like a business. Treat it seriously. If you want to be treated seriously and taken seriously, and treat it seriously. Be prompt.
Yeah.
Have professional. Look professional. You know, I'm not saying you have to dress up, but handle yourself professionally. Carry yourself professionally. Have professional tools like your headshots and cards, whatever, things like that. So just little things.
All the bells
it's not
and
a lot.
whistles, yes.
And I think that is something, it's really important that anytime you're getting into something new, you should always approach it like you're the low person on the totem pole, you know?
Exactly.
We've been lucky for, well, 7 weeks in a row, but unfortunately we had to skip episode 5 in sequential order because of technical issues that we've now since worked out. But we, it's with stuff like this, with what you're talking about, it's, sticking to a timeline is ideal, which if you are any of my current viewers or any of my current guests, you know, have not been our strong suit so far. Going into next week, it's going to be a lot different. We're actually going to start announcing the guests on Sunday, and putting up the countdown to next week's episode. So I think that we probably had, you know, a little bit lower viewers tonight because we started so late. And you know, it is what it is. It's the difference between being part of the overall content creation and overseeing a big picture, and when you're going to be part of the process. You know, I'm not giving myself any excuses. I should just sleep a few hours less every night, in all honesty. So, hey, we're all working to get better, and this show's getting better. Our production's up in its game every single week, and all the other things will be coming along too. But you're making the best point possible, which is one of the easiest things to do for any job ever is to just show up early. You know,
It's not that hard.
you can avoid getting fired from almost every menial job literally by just showing up. The way that you graduate college right now is by participation. So just by showing up, you're there. 90% of getting the part is showing up. And he proved it with a great story, but people say it all the time because if you're not in that room, if you don't go into that audition, they can never cast you.
Exactly.
So getting there, showing up is 90% of the battle. But yes, be respectful, be courteous, look at it like a business. What a great way to approach your art, you know? If all business people approach their business looking at it like art and all artists approach their art looking at it like business, we would be going gangbusters. We'd already be on Mars, I can tell you that.
It's called show business for a reason. It's 95% business, 5% show.
Yeah.
They're making movies to sell them. They're not making movies to put on the shelf or show to grandma. They're making movies to make a profit and sell it.
Yes.
It's a business.
Yes. And so when you give yourself up to a project, you need to take it seriously.
Treat it like a business.
So making me sweat a little bit about being on time, but we'll just kind of keep it going.
Nobody saw a thing, Paul.
So, well, that's really, really excellent. So what are you working on next?
Wow. We've got, there's a few folks that I'm working with. We're developing several features that we're in process of writing scripts for.
Okay.
There's a couple gentlemen that I'm working closely with on 4 different scripts. One's kind of a cross between Crazy Heart and A Star Is Born, and another one's a cross between Out of the Furnace and A Single Shots, and another one's this medieval film, and another one is kind of a it's a cool action type of flick, but with a little bit of a author's flair to it, I guess. I'm not really sure, but yeah, these things we're kind of shooting for like 2020 time frame for a lot of these. But in the interim, we're also I just had this idea that I just want to make a bunch of shorts, like kind of what you were talking about. You know, just get out and produce shorts and just create stuff. And but the thing is, I want to create good stuff. You know, everybody says they want to create good stuff, but I want to produce things with my friends and colleagues and bring in other actors. And you know, I want to bring in, as I always say, a rising tide lifts all boats. I want to bring all my actors with me. Everybody's going up. We're all having fun. We're all going with this. So I want to produce a lot of shorts and just crank out a 5-minute, 10-minute short. You know, and just see what happens with it. You know, so that's kind of where we are now. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of swirling here that just we got to kind of get a little more concrete. And there's also a couple other films that that are physically going to be shooting later this year that I'm tied to. So there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. You just gotta.
It's great working on different projects.
It's great. It keeps the mind focused, and you get an idea here, and you're working on this, and you're like, oh wait, I got an idea for that script. And work begets work. You know, as you keep working and keeping busy. So that's awesome. There's a lot going on.
Hopefully we can figure out how to get in on that bag with you. That's exactly what we're all about.
I love seeing other people's success and helping other actors.
And that is the vantage point. This guy's full of all the things you should be listening to. Yeah. If you can hear about other people's success and either not feel the sting or get over real quickly that sting of jealousy, you'll live a far happier life. And it's kind of a skill because not all of us have that temperament naturally, you know? It's like the whole equal rights thing, you know? It's like more equal rights for somebody else isn't less equal rights for you. It's not pie.
It's not pie. Exactly. You know? There's no pie to it.
And it's like the thing is that, you know, success and successful people, they leave a trail, they leave a path, you know, and there is enough in this world for Anybody who's willing to go out and get it.
That's exactly
can
right.
Go out
that's
and
what
get it.
And I want to work with people that are more successful than me, because that's where I want to aspire to be. And I also want to. And I see my friends and I see my colleagues, and I had a couple guys that got roles, and I reached out. I was like, dude, congrats on the role, man. That's great. You know, good stuff. You guys are working, and that makes me happy, because the more that people work in this area, the more this area gets taken seriously, and the more bigger projects want to come here and cast people here. A lot of times, the bigger films come here, they're already cast in LA. They're going to hire the day players, you know, the background, all that stuff here. But the major roles are already cast. Now, I want them to come here and cast the great actors that are in this town. There's a lot of talent in this town, and I know so many of my fellow actors that are so damn talented, and I just want to see them working, because if they're working, everybody's working.
And you know? Here's my thought on that. I agree. I think that Pittsburgh is poised to be a central hub of a new renaissance.
Absolutely.
I think that this is the perfect melting pot of people from all over the country, and because of Steeler Nation, there's a little bit of Pittsburgh throughout the whole country.
There absolutely is.
So it's a good city. It's, you know, people have heard of Pittsburgh. It is a place where things can be happening. We should be the Atlanta of the North,
without question.
You know,
without question.
And I think that the only road to that is, here's my thought on it. I think that a production's going to have to start here. With a production company that's dedicated to making Pittsburgh its hub. That's not just looking to produce the film and then make the jump to LA or make the jump to New York. We need a powerhouse production house. A powerhouse production house? Nah, that works. Yeah, that works.
It's fine.
A powerhouse production house here in Pittsburgh that's dedicated to growing the actual Pittsburgh market. In all honesty, I'm not going to lie. That's the long-term goal of Filmburgh. Filmburgh is looking to produce material within this general area or from this general area.
That's great.
And expand that here. And you know, this is all just part of it. This is just a, hey, come get to know us. This is what we're doing, and as we continue to grow, we're going to show you how we've done it every step of the way.
Right.
Yeah.
So, because that's the thing. It's like, you know what? Yeah, it's, hey, get rid of the sting of jealousy, because what you'll start to realize is that you can actually spend time helping people get their goals, achieve what they want. And in this life, you can have everything that you want as long as you help enough other people get what they want. It's
and that will come back to you. That'll come back to you.
Yeah, it's all about. I mean, it's been said. You know, what's his name? Good old. All right.
Oh,
said,
yeah.
gratitude reciprocates.
Absolutely.
What that means is when you feel that gratitude, it compounds on itself. It expands, and when you take more time out of your day to focus on what you're grateful for, even in the midst of the things that are going wrong, I'm telling you, that's the path to leading a happier life on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, guys, this has been a lot of fun. You know, I think that we have covered everything. Wes, here, real quick, we're shooting back over to you, man. Do we have anything else that you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, it is March. We got St. Patrick's Day rolling around the corner. A reason why this is my second favorite time of the year, because I love me some, you know, Irish movies, you know, getting on the bandwagon of Gangs of New York, Boondock Saints, just puts me in that mood. So I'm really looking forward to start watching those again.
Okay. So you like this time of year just because it brings about all those.
It's a good feel movie. It's like it just puts you in that mode of wanting to go out and socialize, celebrate. You know, it's St. Patty's Day.
Oh, St. Patty's Day, huge for me. I met the love of my life on St. Patty's Day. It's a great story there. I'll tell you about that one.
I can't wait to hear it.
So, well, guys, I've had so much fun being here. Let's get this back over to me. Let's wrap this show up, guys. I want to say thank you so much for watching this show, whether you watched it live. I know we started about 45 minutes late, so our normal ragtag crew is probably off somewhere else. But if you are watching, gosh, thank you so much. It is so appreciated, and we love doing this show. We love having our guests here. Brian, thanks you so much again.
My pleasure.
Real quick, actually, you know, before I wrap up, let's go back to Brian. Right now, where can they find you? Like, do you have any social media?
No, I use. You can find everything you need to about me on my IMDb page. I kind of use that as my clearinghouse. There's loads of photos out there. My demo reels are out there. My credits are all out there. Best place to get information.
Hey, so guys, you can find him on IMDb. If you have an IMDb Pro account, you can probably get in touch with him pretty easy. And you know what? If you're seriously looking to cast this guy, he's a SAG actor, so if you got a SAG specialty contract that you can afford, let us know. We'll definitely pass your information along.
Check out his links, they are amazing.
Oh yeah, he has some great demo reels. Definitely check those out.
Appreciate that.
All right, so wrapping up the show. Guys, we did it. That's 6. We've done 6 of them. I can't believe it. Next week, we have a great guest already lined up. That will be announced tomorrow. We will start updating the show ahead of time, at least with our guest, and then we'll put in the segments and things that we'll talk about right before the show starts, per usual. Now, one thing that I realized after last week's show is that we only announced the new giveaway, and we didn't announce a giveaway from the previous week because we didn't do a show that previous week. But the week before that, somebody won a prize. And so we're really excited. We don't have any graphics or anything to put up for you today, so I'm just going to say it out loud. This, number one, we're going to give away to our, let's see, who are we starting with? Okay, we're going to start with Vincent Thiel. Vincent Thiel sent us a comment saying, hey, show looks great. Sound could be better. Well, you know what? We spent that whole next week making sure the sound was good, and from what we heard last week, everything was great, so I just tried not to break it this week. So hopefully everything's still good there. Vincent Thiel, congratulations. Since you were so ready to help us make sure that our audio was great and on point, you are going to win a Yeti Nano. So just make sure you message us on the back end of our channel and send us, you know, the information that we need to get you this bad boy. But hey, you helped us get our sound right. Hopefully, if you want to make something, we got a great microphone for you to make your sound right. And then this one, I'm really excited to give out. We've had somebody who's watched our show and made comments on the show every single episode. Not this episode, but that's just because we started so late. So we'll make sure that they watch it on the back end. So Little Bat, Trish Little Bat, this is for you. You've watched every show. You've been super, super supportive, and we appreciate that. The view, it's just great having you here, and it's, ooh, little feedback. So, guys, this one's a really big one. Trish, check her channel out. It's Little Bat, or Trish Little Bat, Trish.
Yep, Little Bat Trish.
Little Bat Trish on YouTube. She puts together some good content. Her editing skills are second to none. And she's just a lot of fun. So guys, go check out her channel. She's making stuff. And Trish, we're going to help you make stuff. So we are giving you a Zoom H4n Pro. Now, this is one of the best field recorders that you can get unless you're going to go for the actual professional level Zoom in their F series. So this is really, really excellent. You have 2 XLR inputs on the bottom, and you have an additional mic input here. You can also, on the top mic, attach a 3/4 or 3.5 millimeter jack to it and have 3 external mics connected to this interface. So this is going to be great. I know you do a lot of interviews, and you'll be able to carry this with you and get that professional sound anywhere that you are. Save some money. Trish, make sure you message us. We'll get you your prize. Okay, so last little bit. We're giving away shit every week. So I got something new this week, guys. Like you know, if you like what we're doing here, please drop a subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment on this video. If you'd like to win the prize, you got to do all 3 of those things. All those rules are in our descriptions of every live upload that we do. And if you really like what we're doing, help us out. Go search for us on eBay. You can do it by a seller search, Film Gear by Filmburgh. We actually have animations coming through right over here, for that information. So definitely go check it out. It helps us continue doing this show, and that's why we've been able to, you know, not monetize anything, because I want to do this show without you guys having to have any types of commercials for as long as possible. So hopefully we'll do that up to, you know, like 1 million subscribers, and then from there we might have to monetize because it would just be silly to give it all to YouTube. So If you start to see some repetitions on the prizes that we give away, I can't really help that, but I also don't feel bad because everything that we've given away has been worth over $100, where $100's been what we've promised. So we're giving away another excellent entry-level filmmaker tripod. This is the Manfrotto 290 Lite. Yes. Good. Ah, there we go. So, this is their entry-level tripod. I own one of these, and I love it. What's great about it is it has the most compact body style that you can get, while still maintaining the fluid head mount. So you can still get those nice, smooth, pans, tilts, so on and so forth. Again, just at a more entry-level level. So, guys, if you're interested in this, if you'd like to win this, really, really excellent product, available for giveaway. Again, just destroy that like button. I want you to donkey punch the subscribe. And you know what? Just drop us a comment. We want to know what you like. You know, hey, if you hate something, you love something, it doesn't matter to us. We just want to hear from you. So, guys, thank you so much. Again, I'm Pollock Taylor with Filmburgh, and as always, follow our story and let us help you tell yours.